Marcellus, start us off.
Yes.
Fair to say Kirk Cousins' career is proof Cowboys shouldn't overpay for Dak Prescott.
Unfair. Very unfair. One, let's use the context of their circumstances to prove that this is not a fair comparison. Kirk Cousins was on a team with no Super Bowl aspirations at the time of his franchise tag offerings. This is not the same for Dak Prescott, who is on a team that even you say, Jerry Jones is waiting for that next ring. They're built for it. And how are they built for it? They're built by their defense and they're built by their running game. And that lends me to other comparisons that are more favorable for Dak Prescott than one Kirk Cousins. It leads me to the comparisons of a young Russell Wilson, the comparisons of a young Ben Roethlisberger, who were leaning on defense and running games to the tune of a Super Bowl championship, to the tune of Ben Roethlisberger won his first championship, and people said, that's not for you. That's for the Steelers, for everybody else on the team, right? And if you look at it, Dak has more yards per game than Russell Wilson in his first 4 years and a better passer rating than Big Ben. Dak, second most wins in the league since he's been there, under Tom Brady. And we're still using lower, lesser comparisons for Dak instead of the more favorable future Hall of Fame comparisons that exist in Big Ben and Russell Wilson. My case has been dropped.
Look,
Dropped.
dismissed.
I mean, I just want to one. I like the Whitlock. That was great. The way that you tied it all together with the wire. I love the wire. I like that. I just think you have it wrong in terms of Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is a guy that is a franchise quarterback. He has proven that he's a franchise quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. He's winning 66% of his games. And so when you compare his plight with that of Kirk Cousins, who is a sub-500 quarterback, it's not the same. And I know they both are fourth-round picks, and you're always looking to replace the guys that come into the league viewed as developmental. But I think the biggest thing that he offers for the Dallas Cowboys, consistency and stability. He's consistent in how he plays. He's stable in his emotions. They know each and every week what they're getting. And I think there's comfort for the Dallas Cowboys knowing they have a quarterback that is going to show up each and every week. And no matter what his strengths are and what his lows are, they still can win around that. Comfort. I think I'm fine.
You pay $35 million for comfort.
I mean, that's the going rate. That's what you got to pay for.
That ain't nothing.
That's what you got to pay for.
It's fair to say that Kirk Cousins is proof that the Cowboys should lose the N in the apostrophe T, lose the over before pay, and put Dak and take away the question mark and put a period. It's fair to say Kirk Cousins' career is proof the Cowboys should pay Dak. That's what I come up with. Here's the thing, right? You're replacing a franchise quarterback and settling Dak into a role where he had to replace Tony Romo, and he's done a fine job of doing that. You see the massive push to solidify this roster so that they can make that run for the Super Bowl. Here's why I say it's unfair to go at Kirk Cousins, all right? Yeah. You're talking about a team where they kept franchise tagging him, but the franchise tag situation with him was not based off of his play. It was not purely based off of his play. It was based off of sensationalism, all right? Can we sell tickets? Does Kirk Cousins move the needle for our poop-butt franchise that can't win games, but we were actually pretty decent with Kirk Cousins? Yeah. They should have paid the man so that they could try to stabilize their team, but now where are they at since he's left? They're a one-win team this year in Week 9. So it's not fair to say that Kirk Cousins was overpaid. He went to Minnesota. He had a rough start, but now he's winning again. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of if you're looking at Kirk Cousins, and he did deserve that money when he went to Minnesota because he's doing what he did in Washington. He's winning, and he's winning in an organization that needed that quarterback to win. And you saw what his leaving left. Now, for Dak, you have an opportunity to possibly your first place in the NFC. You have a possibility of going.
NFCs.
And it doesn't matter. They're number one. And they're number one. Big win in prime time against a weak Giants team. But the reality is you got to play hoops in front of you. I think Dak is earning his keep. And again, I'm going to continue to say it's more about the coaches than him.
So I just want to be clear here. One thing I think you do agree with me is that Dak and Kirk Cousins are comparable. You can put them in the same class of quarterbacks.
Don't do it.
What?
You're leading the witness. Look at that handout.
He's coercing me. He's coercing me.
It sounds like you agree with me on that. That they're in the same class, and Marcellus is over here comparing to Bill.
No, I do actually think they're comparing.
I'm not comparing them. His numbers are comparing him to them. That's all. That's who we.
Look at how many pieces he's had to work.
Look how many that Russell Wilson had in the beginning. And look what Ben had in the beginning.
Russell Wilson didn't have these kind of pieces.
Russell Wilson wasn't driving the bus. Marshawn Lynch was driving that bus for Seattle. Marshawn Lynch and the defense. And so that's what it is. But here's what we'll do. We'll make it easy because we'll go back because you want to move on from Dak Prescott. So we'll just go back a couple years and we'll just look at the quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, and then you got Lamar Jackson. So if we compare any of those guys and say, okay, I got Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield, who would I go? Dak Prescott. Sam Darnold, same thing, Josh Allen.
Dak Prescott.
Like the only one where we can begin to be like, well, maybe it'll look good if we put Lamar Jackson in the Dallas uniform, maybe. So that's potentially what you're looking at if you say, hey, we'll move on from him and we'll get into the draft and we'll take one of these maybes and a possible and see if we can win a space.
But here's where I'll say, even with Lamar Jackson, and this is no shot at Lamar, but
here it comes.
Dak Prescott fits the look of, let's be real, a black quarterback for America's team. Ooh. So if you want to play it real, Dak Prescott fits the profile of what a franchise quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. And that's what also the markets and the size of the franchise separates Dak Prescott and why he should be paid versus comparing him to Kirk Cousins in this scenario.
You've made an interesting point. I want to go back at Bucky here and Marcellus a little bit here before I get to you. Do you honestly think? Let's just be honest here.
Let's be honest.
Do you think Dak Prescott will ever be as good as Russell Wilson? Be honest.
Oh, I think their careers are parallel. I think you're going to see a swing where this team goes from being Zeke Elliott-led to being Dak Prescott-led. It's the same thing that happens in Seattle with Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch was the bell cow. He was everything. They go to 2 Super Bowls. They
led is different than being as good as Russell Wilson or Ben Roethlisberger.
I will answer that, and I will go one greater than Russell Wilson. I'll go Tom Brady. And don't tell me about young Tom Brady.
That's another one.
I was in the defensive meetings, and we were like, we ain't got to worry about that 12.
Yeah.
We don't have to until we're like, oh, they just won a Super Bowl. And again. And then you're like, oh. And then you saw the transition. Be respectful. That was a defensive special teams
3 out of 4.
Those are all facts.
3 out of 4.
Okay, but are you trying to tell me Dak is going to be Tom Brady?
I'm telling you there's a possibility because there was a projection and there was a reality when no one saw Tom Brady coming. There was a reality no one saw Russell Wilson coming.
You're thinking this Tom Brady. Not the Tom Brady 2001,
Rewind the movie.
3, 4.
Rewind the movie to see it.
Nobody's going to win those amount of Super Bowls. I don't think any quarterback will surpass Tom Brady and winning Super Bowls.
They say that after Montana at the time.
Yeah,
they said that. I'm just letting you know. You sound like them again.
Yeah.
Just understand, y'all are arguing that Dak could potentially be the GOAT.
Okay, so we're taking it away. How about Ben Roethlisberger? Because you brought that up.
Let's move Brady off the table.
Ben Roethlisberger, that first Super Bowl that he went to, man, you talk about a team carrying a guy. Carried him. A few years later, he then goes and takes that team. Dak Prescott could very well be on the same path where he does that.
And look, y'all want to compare him to Big Ben. Big Ben was a first-round draft pick. Big Ben is still 6'5", 250 pounds. Dak Prescott will never be 6'5".
But he has intangibles that make
he will never have his arm. He'll never have that arm.
He has personnel. He might not have the leadership. Now, I'll say this. Ben Roethlisberger had guys like Hines Ward and the bus with him early on in those days to guide him. I don't know who that leader is on this Dallas team, and maybe at this point, maybe that's immaterial because he's got years in. But if he develops, he does have the intangibles to be that type of a quarterback.
Absolutely. Quarterback.
Ben Roethlisberger or better.
The intangibles are personnel-wise to the top of that mountain. It's not your tangibles. Yeah. Intangibles, because we all walk in a collective sphere of big, fast, strong. We're all kind of bunched up together. But what separates us, as Russell Wilson says, preparation is a separation. If you will die for this sport will love you forever. And Dak shows that level of commitment. as the leader of America's
He
team.
needs to be developed, though, and I don't know that he's being developed as much
gotta
as he
stop
should,
it with
he
the
needs
coaches.
to be.
The guy's out here for 4 years. At some point, he's gotten plenty of playing time. They've given him Amari Cooper. He's got the best offensive line. He's got Ezekiel Elliott.
But that doesn't mean he's being developed.
Offensive line either.
Second most wins.
It doesn't mean he's being developed.
But I'm just saying he's won.
Now we're gonna dump on Tyron Smith and Zach Martin.
Injuries.
Every other week he goes out with a back.
Be real about that. You played O-line. You know how it is. Consistency.
You know, ACL. You know what I
Unspoken
mean?
language. You okay with? We got.
I'm saying they're winning. Two out of every
we've
three
compared
games.
him to Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow Big Ben's a Hall of Famer. Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer. And somehow we got Dak right in there with this is crazy.
Was year 4 Tom Brady better as a talent than Dak?
No.
Man, well, it's not even a conversation.
No.
So,
As a talent, he's never been better.
It's two different leagues.
It's the same thing.
It's two different leagues.
Oh, now it's
these systems that are being played now, the way the passing game is now.
But now you're making my point. If you put Dak Prescott in a Bill Belichick ran offense, what is Dak Prescott?
They might have won 5 out of 6.
Imagine.
Drop it again.
Just think about how good Jacoby Brissett
Put Dak Prescott in New England.
I'm just saying Jacoby Brissett was great for Bill Belichick.
Matt Castle looked great.
I mean, look real good.
Jimmy G got $100 million off him.
Looking real good right now.
Hey,
looking real good right now.
Tom Brady, I just want to issue you an apology.
What are you talking
about? The whole
about?
Patriots organization. Your name has been denigrated on
Sully.
Sorry, Tom.
Be smart.
I mean, my God.
Be smart.
Come on.
I mean, Dak can get his money, man, 28, 29 million. But look, we don't got to compare him.
Oh, you're going to give him 28, 20.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.